Well, hello and welcome to this presentation from CALDO. In the next minutes, we will talk about financing options from the different partners that CALDO interacts with from specific countries in Latin America. We will be covering some of the countries that you will see here. So they don't represent all the countries that CALDO is engaged with, but for the sake of keeping this presentation more focused, today we will be talking about Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Mexico, and Uruguay. The agencies that we will be talking about each country will be CAPES and CNPq from Brazilian agencies, and also the foundation Fundação Estudar. From Chile, we will be talking about CONICIT. From Colombia, Colciencias and Colfuturo. From Mexico, CONACYT and FIDER, and from Uruguay, ANI. So before we go into the details of each agency, I would just like to mention that what we will discuss here is a general overview of the characteristics of the financial assistance that is provided by each of these agencies. So at each call, so each convocatória that they open, regulations may change. So please be aware that what we are talking here is based on the most recent information that we have. However, things may change from call to call. So it's always important to read the full terms of the call, of the convocatória, of the edital, so that you are perfectly aligned with what the agency is requiring from the candidates. So let's start with Brazil, and let's talk a bit about CAPES and CNPq. These two agencies are very similar in the type of assistance that they provide, and most of the support that they provide is for programs for PhDs, full PhDs, sandwich PhDs, or postdocs. Usually, for students to apply to financial assistance from these agencies, they will need to have an admission letter that could be conditional to language and financing when you are applying to the scholarship. However, when you formalize the scholarship, when it's time to actually start receiving the money, you have to present an unconditional letter of admission, meaning that there are no conditions associated to you being admitted to the program that you're interested. The monthly stipends, so the monthly amounts that these agencies will provide candidates according to the most recent information, is around 1,400 Canadian dollars for PhDs and sandwich PhDs, and 2,500 for postdocs. Obviously, this is always something that you need to confirm whenever you're applying, because these amounts may change. These scholarships usually open at the end of the year or beginning of the year. So, for example, last year CAPES opened the scholarship around December, and CNPq opened the scholarship around January. The websites where you can gather this information are mentioned there, and a final note that please make sure that you visit the websites frequently, because the dates for which the scholarships open are not always the same. So it's good that if you're interested in applying to a scholarship, at least check the websites once a week, so that you're able to see if there are any news. From Brazil, there's also Fundação Estudar. Fundação Estudar, it's an organization that provides scholarships for candidates that otherwise would not be able to, for example, gain financing for a master program abroad, because CAPES and CNPq, they don't provide any financing for master programs. They also provide assistance for PhD, and when you are applying, you don't yet need the admission letter, or at least the final admission letter, but you will need it during the process. So Fundação Estudar has a series of stages that all candidates need to go through, and those stages, at a certain point, they will request a candidate to present an admission letter. Fundação Estudar is able to finance from 5 to 95% of the expenses from studying abroad, including tuition fees and living costs. Usually the scholarship might open early in the year. Once again, this is not something that I can guarantee 100%, but at least this year it seemed that they open early in the year. And one of the important things about this financial assistance is that unlike CAPES and CNPq, the candidates are expected to contribute to with a similar amount that they receive after they finish their program and eventually they are working, so that Fundação Estudar can continue to provide scholarships to new people. Also, there is an age limitation for this financial assistance. People need to be younger than 34 years old. Moving on to Chile, the agency CONICIT provides scholarships for masters, PhDs, and they are very generous in the number of scholarships that they provide, but they are also very strict in the type of universities that they consider to be eligible. So they will accept students with conditional letters to language and financing. So conditional letter to language means that basically the candidate is still to meet the minimum level of language required by the program. So he still needs to submit a language test like a TOEFL or a IELTS that confirms that he meets the minimum level of language required by the program. The monthly stipend that CONICIT will give candidates is around 1,500 Canadian dollars per month. Usually the scholarships open in the first 3 months of the year. And CONICIT work based on their own ranking. So they have created rankings of universities, and based on the position in the ranking, the candidate will receive more or less points depending on the universities that they are applying for specific programs. So it's always very important for you to check the CONICIT rankings so that you are aware of the position where the university is what is the position that CONICIT gave to the university that you're interested in. Moving on to Colombia. In Colombia, we find the agency Colfuturo. So Colfuturo provides forgivable loans, so créditos condonables, that will allow candidates that are interested in doing masters and PhDs abroad to receive some financing for their studies. Usually it's not necessary to have the final admission letter at the moment of applying. The amounts that Colfuturo will provide is a maximum of $50,000 US for 2 years, which means that each year the candidates can request up to a maximum of $25,000 US. This makes this option more suitable for master programs because a master usually takes 2 years, while a PhD lasts 4. So this is a much more interesting option for masters than for PhDs, based on this requirement that you can only receive the assistance for 2 years. Usually the Colfuturo Convocatoria opens in the first 2 months of each year. From Colombia, we also have Colciencias. So Colciencias finances only PhD programs. They will require a final admission letter, meaning that the letter can be only conditional to financing, so to receiving, for example, the beca from Colciencias, and they will provide a financial assistance around 1,500 Canadian dollars, and the dates for which the scholarship open is not always the same, so you need to check out the website from Colciencias. However, for 2018, the information that we have from them is that likely there won't be any scholarship opening this year. Going to Mexico, CONACYT. CONACYT finances masters and PhD programs, and CONACYT offers a huge variety of scholarships. Candidates will need to have the final admission letter to apply, so there can be any conditions associated with the letter except receiving the financing. They will provide candidates around 1,200 Canadian dollars per month, and the scholarships from CONACYT usually open in the first 3 months of the year. at least most of them. Some might still open after that period, but most of them will be during this period. CONACYT partners with very different agencies in Mexico, such as the Mexican states, FUNED, FIDER, FONCA. So they offer scholarships for very different areas. And we will see that in a while when we will look at the websites of each agency. Also from Mexico, we have FIDER. FIDER, unlike CONACYT, offers créditos. So it's a credit agency associated with Banco de Mexico. Candidates can request financial assistance from FIDER for master's and PhD programs. They can also request financial assistance for programs that usually CONACYT will not provide any financing, such as MBA programs or other other masters that don't involve research. The calls from FIDER are open throughout the year, so they have different admission periods for applications. So it's a good option because like that you can submit an application. You have different timelines where you can submit the application. Finally, ANI from Uruguay. ANI will finance PhD programs, and they will require an unconditional letter of admission, and they will finance up to $80,000 for PhD programs. In the past, they used to finance also master programs, but that's not the case currently. The scholarship usually opens in December each year, and it's open in the link that you see in this slide. All of these agencies are mentioned in the CALDO website. In the CALDO website, there is a section called Steps to Apply, where you can find the links for the different agencies that we mentioned here. This first page that you have here is the page from CAPES. So when you look for CAPES, you should browse Bolsas no Exterior. You should look for CAPES Bolsas no Exterior, and do a Google search, and you will get this page. In this page, you will see all the different modalities of scholarships that they open. And once you click on the link of each of them, you are able to get the detailed information on the convocatoria, on the call. You will need to scroll down to see the calendario, where they mention all the dates, and also you need to read about the normas e editais so that you're able to understand how it works. Once the new calendar is up and running, you will see the information updated here. So that's why I was recommending that you visit the website with some periodicity. Here you have the CNPq website, where you are able to also find which Bolsas no Exterior are they offering, so the calendar. They offer all of these bolsas. So for you to gather more information, you just click on this link to read more about how to apply. And the calendar is mentioned here. So something that I forgot to open here is the Fundação Estudar. So the Fundação Estudar, for you to gather information, you need to look for Fundação Estudar Bolsas, and you will see this page where basically it states all of the regulations of the scholarship, and it has all of the description of how the inscription works. Colfuturo from Colombia. The page looks like this, and for you to gather information, you should come here to Convocatórias. In Convocatórias, you will see the dates when the call opens. So as you can see, it's early in the year, January the 9th, and usually it's around the same time every year. For you to read more about the Crédito Beca, you just come here and just basically read about the rules and regulations of the Crédito Beca. Consciência is also from Colombia. Once you log into their website, you come here to Convocatórias and Oportunidades de Formación. This is where they advertise the different financial assistance scholarships that they offer. So like I mentioned, for 2018, they will likely not have Colciencias convocatoria, so you will need to wait for further information. From Chile, you have the CONICYT Becas Chile website, where you are able to find all of the information regarding the becas from Chile. So in here, Oferta Becas is where you will see the different scholarship modalities. Ranking of the universities, what I was mentioning previously, this is where you will find the information. And basically, you just need to start reading the becas de posgrado en el extranjero so that you are able to know how this thing works. And you have different options. In Mexico, CONACYT has in its webpage this section Becas y Posgrados. In the menu, you select Becas al Extranjero and you come to this page. In this page, you see all the different scholarships that they offer. And they all offer, they all have different specificities. So for example, Becas al Extranjero is only for doctorados. The CONACYT Entidades Federativas is for master's and doctoral programs. So this is where you will find most of the master degrees. However, you need to make sure that since this is specific to each Mexican state, that your state has the area of knowledge that you're interested in working with. Afterwards, they have specific calls with FUNED. This is for the top 200 universities in the world only, and they have Alianza FIDEM that it's for the field of civil engineering. The FINBA that it's for masters and PhDs in the field of arts, and the FONCA that it's for the field of humanities, architecture, design, music, and so on. They also have CONACYT CENER, the CONACYT Secretaría de Energía, that it's for the field of energy, like the name states. Also in Mexico, you have FIDER. FIDER, like I mentioned previously, is a crédito, and you are able to read more about this in the Información General, where you are able to have a lot more information about what they provide. And finally, ANI. ANI, you should come to the main page, Apoyos, Formación, and you will see the different scholarships from Canada when you click Canada. And in this case, the CALDO Canada call is closed because it opened in December 12th last year, and it closed in mid-March this year. So, as a last tip, if you go to the CALDO website, under steps to apply, you are able to see some of these financing agencies in the second stage of the steps to apply finding financing. So you have some of them here where you can gather a bit more information on how they work. Interested in contacting CALDO, I will just leave you here the email when you can reach us. So it's graduate.coordinator@caldo.ca. Any questions that you may have, please feel free to contact us, and we will be more than happy to help you in any way that we can. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.